is an extremely important one indeed, the Outstanding Contribution Award, sponsored by Highlands and Islands Enterprise. This is a special award which honours an individual who has made an exceptional contribution to the success of the renewables industry in Scotland. To announce the winner, please welcome the Minister for Business, Innovation and Energy, Paul Wheelhouse MSP.
Thank you very much, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As you all know, each year the Scottish Green Energy Awards celebrate those people and projects who have made an impact in the sector in one way or another over the course of the year. This year has been no different, and tonight we have seen extremely worthy winners across all categories, and I congratulate all of you, and indeed all who were nominated on your achievements this year. But the final night of the award, as Miles has said, is the Outstanding Contribution Award. This award goes to the person who has made the most outstanding contribution to the development of Scotland's renewable energy industry. And this year, our winner is someone who has been involved in the energy sector directly for 8 years now, but in reality, for much longer than that, with regards to the work that they have been responsible for surrounding economic development. This person has long been an advocate for renewable energy in Scotland, and in particular, offshore wind, wave, and tidal energy. They have been a staunch supporter of the industry and been described as someone who would go above and beyond to solve problems, resolve issues, and to make things happen. This person is well known and respected throughout the industry. They are enthusiastic, dedicated, and passionate, not only about the work they do, but also about the part of the world in which they live, consistently striving to make it the place in which to do business in the renewable energy sector. This person has had a seat at many tables over the year and had responsibility for delivering the ambitious agenda of government, whilst balancing that with the needs and requirements of developers, the supply chain, and academia. There are a great many number of renewable projects that simply would not be where they are today without the involvement of this person. And recently, this man has been honoured for his work in the tidal energy sector, with Atlantis naming one of the Maygen project turbines in his honour. Tim Cornelius said of him, and I quote, "This person believes in the future of the marine power industry that he has helped create in Scotland. He is one of the reasons why Scotland leads the world in tidal energy development. To be in this industry, you need to be resilient, tenacious, dedicated, and determined. Combine that with humility and a heart the size of Scotland, and you have a pretty accurate description of him." Outside of work, this year's winner is passionate about photography, and most of us in this room will likely be familiar with some of the iconic images which he has captured from many and varied projects in which he's been involved over the years. This person is also well known for being a family man, and as such, given that he is not able to be with us in person tonight, I'm absolutely delighted to be able to welcome his 3 sons to the stage to collect this award on his behalf. So ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who have not already guessed it, tonight's very worthy winner of the Outstanding Contribution Award is Mr. Calum Davidson of Highlands and Islands Enterprise. And representing him here this evening are his sons Charlie, Hamish and Magnus. So please welcome them to the stage to represent their father, of whom we should all be very proud. Congratulations.
I'm actually surprised with Highlands and Islands Enterprise sponsoring this prize that I'm the first to call it a fix. I'm not sure if I'm the first one up here to be speaking, because I've managed to, or have been lucky enough to work with my father over the last 12 months professionally, whether or not it's just because I'm the only one that knows what a CFD is, or whether or not it's because I'm the youngest out of the 3 of us. But unfortunately, my father cannot be here today because he is, unfortunately, once again, I'll mention that, suffering through a very bad disease. He's got brain cancer, so he's not managing to be here. He really wished that he could, but the 3 of us are here to represent him. And I sat down with him yesterday in the hospital so he could convey some messages to everybody here. So I'm going to try to do my best to do that. He's keen to stress that although he's only kind of worked with HIE in this sector for the last 10 years, throughout his whole life in the Highlands and Islands and a brief spell in the Central Belt, he's lived through Scotland developing this renewable energy sector. And it's had a very strong imprint on his life. At these Scottish renewable events, and I'm sure we've all been to a few, nobody can get through a talk or whatnot without mentioning Howden's turbines. I think back in the 80s in Glasgow, and Dad was always, or is always, the first to mention that he liked these Howden's turbines before they were cool. When he was a student at the art school in Glasgow, he used to walk past the factory on Scotland Street throughout student days and was always very keen to stress to us, and I'd imagine anyone that's ever heard him speak before, that this has left an imprint. Upon the joining the Highlands and Islands Enterprise predecessor, the Highlands and Islands Development Board, he's talked a lot about seeing the development of wind turbines in Burger Hill and Orkney, especially the 1 megawatt machine, although it never lasted very long. And he also, throughout probably my childhood, started to see the development and the rollout of onshore wind across the whole of the Highlands and Islands, especially on a clear day from his house and my mum's house and the house that we were brought up in Cromarty, Novar wind farm in Easter Ross. He also, when I was getting a bit older, and he was probably getting a bit older, saw that at Nig Energy Park, now as it's known, the Beatrice Development Farm, the 2 wind turbines that went out just close to the Beatrice Oil Farm, he saw those being assembled at Nig, which I think kind of gave him ideas of what can happen in the future and hopefully what will happen in the future. And he stressed to me yesterday just how delighted he was that 15 years later, the first steel is going together in Arnish for the jackets for these turbines. And that's development in the Highlands and Islands for an Highlands and Islands project. He's also keen to state that he hopes that MORL gets its CFD quite soon, which I'd imagine a lot of folk in this room are keen to. The highlight of his career has actually been, as you could all imagine, the development of the marine renewable sector. He's thrown himself wholeheartedly into this, and he's just, from my own eyes and the work that I've seen him put in, I think he's actually done a hell of a lot for the sector, not only in the Highlands and Islands, but also in Scotland and the world. His delight at getting this award is matched only with getting the Andritz machine named after him. A couple of weeks ago, we were at Nig Energy Park again. I don't think Tim Cornelius is in the crowd tonight, but we can't thank him enough for that really, really kind gesture. Living in Caithness myself, it's a real delight that knowing when I switch the light switch on at night, it'll be the Calum Davidson churning away at the bottom of the inner sound of the Pentland Firth. If Dad was accepting this award himself tonight, he probably would have mentioned it a lot sooner than I am, but he just straight away would have been thanking his team, most of them on the table to my right here. It's just unbelievable, especially during the illness, but before that, during his whole working life, how he's managed to surround himself with such strong people. He wanted me to say, somewhere, where is it? Sassy and intelligent women. I feel kind of sorry for the boys at the table there. But he is really keen to stress that he wants them, but he doesn't just want them. He knows these are the people, these are the women that are going to be leading the renewable sector, not just in the Highlands and Islands, but across the whole of Scotland, and with the lead that the Highlands and Islands have, pushing it across the whole world. And he's very keen for it to stress that we're going to be pushing a Highlands and Islands agenda across the whole of Scotland as well. in terms of the awards here, he's always had such a good time coming along, probably getting quite pissed at the same time. But he's just, he was gutted he couldn't make it, but he absolutely loves coming along to these things. So a couple of months ago, I posted a very flippant remark on, I think it was actually Twitter, saying that it was fascinating to think that in a decade's time, hopefully a decade's time, maybe a wee bit longer with the current world affairs, but this industry is not going to be known as the renewable industry. It's going to be known, renewable energy industry. It's going to be known as the energy industry. And he was quite keen to stress yesterday that he was hoping within a decade's time, these are not going to be known as the Green Energy Awards. They're just going to be known as the Energy Awards. I'm aware I'm a wee bit up here a bit longer than most of the other folk. So on his behalf, I would like to thank everyone who has made his professional career in the renewable energy sector so enjoyable, his colleagues throughout industry, throughout politics, and throughout academia. And unfortunately, because he's dying, I'm quite happy to say, and I'm sure he's quite happy to say, the politics has enjoyed him a lot of the time. He's really, really enjoyed working with many of the folk that are sat in front of us here today. In terms of academia, he just wanted to note as well the sad passing of Professor Ian Bryden earlier this week, who's had such an impact on the marine renewable sector. And it's just like to thank him as well for that. So on behalf of the three of us, my mum and the whole family, we'd just like to thank you very much for giving him this award, and we hope the rest of you have a very good night. Thank you.
Beautifully spoken. Thank you very much indeed.